The news these days feels like a constant barrage of bad headlines. Russia's refusal to budge on Ukrainian territory creates a stalemate that chills everyone to the bone. Meanwhile, China's increasingly assertive stance towards Taiwan has the world watching nervously. The conflict between India and Pakistan over Kashmir continues to hang over South Asia like a dark cloud. Tensions recently escalated further as India deployed an additional 50,000 troops to the disputed Himalayan border with China. These are just a few of the many flashpoints erupting around the globe, and it's not hard to feel like the world is teetering on the brink. While peaceful resolutions are the fervent hope, the question lingers: what if diplomacy fails? If a global war erupts and India, a nuclear power, finds itself thrust into the heart of the conflict, does India have a plan for such a nightmarish scenario? India's answer comes in the form of a powerful military with several key parts. First, there's the Air Force, packed with top-notch fighter jets that can zoom through the sky. Next, there's the impressive Navy, complete with a giant aircraft carrier that serves as a floating military base. And finally, there's the massive army, with more soldiers on active duty than any other country except China. But India knows that muscle isn't everything. They also value diplomacy, building strong relationships with democracies like the United States and France. These friendships not only help India get a hold of advanced military tech, but could also mean backup in case of war. Unlike some nations with the luxury of peaceful neighbors, India walks a tightrope. To the north, China's expanding military influence and a long-standing border dispute loom large. Meanwhile, to the west, Pakistan's possession of a nuclear arsenal adds another layer of unease. So, how does India prepare itself for a global conflict on two fronts? India's strategic terrain resembles a complex chessboard. A war on two fronts would devastate India's economy, disrupt vital supply chains, and potentially lead to immense casualties, jeopardizing the safety and security of India's 1.4 billion people. Millions could be displaced internally or forced to flee as refugees. Both China and Pakistan possess significant conventional forces, making resource allocation and troop deployment a logistical headache. The Himalayas, while offering some natural defense against China, also limit India's ability to maneuver large armies quickly. Similarly, the Thar Desert presents challenges for rapid troop movement on the Pakistan border. While India possesses nuclear capabilities and could theoretically consider blowing up its enemies with atomic bombs, the practical reality is far more complex. This is especially true considering that two of the countries it shares borders with also have similarly devastating weapons. The potential for widespread destruction and eternal consequences is something that India is keenly aware of and seeks to avoid at all costs. Furthermore, India has long been an advocate for peaceful coexistence and diplomacy in international relations. It strictly adheres to a no-first-use policy regarding nuclear weapons, signaling its commitment to restraint in such matters. Additionally, India places significant emphasis on multilateralism, actively engaging through international organizations like the United Nations to address global challenges. But let's consider the scenario where all diplomatic efforts fail. In such a situation, what would India do? It's evident that India hasn't been idling since gaining independence in 1947. Rather, it has engaged in extensive planning, particularly due to its long-standing rivalry with its neighboring country, Pakistan. Both nations allocate significant portions of their annual budgets to their armed forces and weaponry. Handling such a situation would undoubtedly be a complex and challenging endeavor, requiring careful consideration and strategic action on India's part. India is home to a formidable military force, boasting a wide array of assets ranging from fighter jets, tanks, and troops. These resources are continuously evaluated to ensure the nation's defense strategies are up to par, safeguarding its citizens in the event of a global conflict. In the realm of aerial capabilities, India commands a formidable nuclear strike force. This impressive arsenal comprises 272 Su-30 Mk1 twin-engine fighters procured from Russia, 69 MiG-29s, advanced French Rafale fighter jets, and 51 Mirage 2000 fighters. It's worth noting that some of these aircraft have been adapted for potential nuclear weapon delivery, demonstrating India's readiness on this front. Notably, the Indian Air Force ranks as the world's fourth largest force by active aircraft strength, underscoring its significant air power. Moreover, the Indian Air Force maintains a substantial fleet of transport aircraft. helicopters, and unmanned aerial vehicles. These assets are vital for various operations, including troop deployment, reconnaissance missions, and logistical support, showcasing India's commitment to maintaining a robust defense infrastructure. India's land-based defenses pack a punch. For close-quarters combat, they deploy the Prithvi missile, a tactical ballistic missile with a surprising sting. Imagine a weapon that can zero in on enemy strongholds, air bases, artillery clusters, even military stockpiles, all within a 93-mile range. That's the kind of immediate threat the Prithvi poses. But India's reach extends far beyond its borders. The Agni series of ballistic missiles is their long-range answer. These bad boys come in various flavors, from short-range to weapons with intercontinental muscle. This means they can deliver a powerful blow to targets across Pakistan, including nuclear sites, major cities, and other critical infrastructure. Land warfare isn't just about missiles, though. India's army is a well-oiled machine, equipped with a formidable arsenal of tanks. They've got their own domestically produced Arjun tanks, known for their toughness, rolling alongside the T-90s, beasts acquired from Russia. These heavily armored behemoths form a formidable frontline defense. The Indian Navy reigns supreme in the Indian Ocean region. This isn't your average Navy. It's a diverse and powerful fleet, wielding a multi-pronged approach to defense. Their impressive arsenal includes a wide range of warships, from colossal aircraft carriers and sleek destroyers to agile frigates and stealthy corvettes. Lurking beneath the surface, completing this undersea picture is their fleet of submarines. Together, these warships function as a cohesive unit, safeguarding India's vast coastline and maritime interests. The centerpiece of this formidable fleet is the INS Vikramaditya, a modified Russian aircraft carrier. This behemoth acts as a floating airbase, carrying fighter jets and helicopters that allow India to project power and conduct air operations at sea with unmatched dominance. The firepower doesn't stop there. The Indian Navy boasts a potent arsenal of cutting-edge weaponry. Their supersonic BrahMos cruise missiles, capable of reaching unimaginable speeds, can pierce through any enemy vessel. Adding to this offensive capability are their deadly torpedoes, silent hunters that lurk beneath the waves, poised to unleash destruction. This combination of advanced technology and sheer force makes the Indian Navy a formidable force to be reckoned with in the Indian Ocean. Adding another layer to its naval dominance, India is building a fleet of 4 ballistic missile submarines, led by the mighty INS Arihant. These underwater giants are no ordinary subs. They're armed with a short and medium-range ballistic missiles. This provides India with a crucial second strike capability, meaning that even if attacked first, these submarines ensure that they can retaliate with devastating force. The K-15 Sagarika can strike targets 434 miles away, while the K-4 boasts an even longer range of 2,174 miles. India finds itself trapped in a geopolitical nightmare some call the Triangle of Death. 3 Chinese-controlled ports in South Asia, Gwadar in Pakistan, Hambantota in Sri Lanka, and Chittagong in Bangladesh. These ports pose a serious threat to India, especially in a potential war with China over border disputes. But India isn't sitting on its hands. It's been diligently building up its military muscle, boasting the world's second largest active army. Recognizing limitations isn't a sign of weakness, and India understands that. That's why they actively seek partnerships with democracies like the United States and France. These alliances go beyond social calls. They're strategic chess moves. Imagine India having access to cutting-edge weaponry and potential wartime support from these allies. Such support could be the game-changer in a worst-case scenario. But the world isn't a simple game of chess. A 2-front war against China and Pakistan simultaneously would be a brutal fight. Experts warn that China might still hold a technological edge despite India's modernization efforts. And the presence of nuclear weapons on both borders adds a horrifying layer of complexity. This raises the stakes to an unimaginable level. A war wouldn't be a simple fight. It would be a high-stakes gamble with potentially catastrophic consequences.